Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from two important newspapers. The first being the Hindu and the other is Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 12th of March. The first topic is first indigenous COVID drug to be available soon. We'll see the detail and the name of the drug. Second, Russia offer more oil to India amid the ongoing crisis. And recently, Russia has invaded Ukraine. So after that, the challenges and the shortage of crude oil has risen. So in that context, Russia has offered for more oil to India. Third, India-China hold 15 round of military talk. We have seen the escalation going on the eastern Ladakh region, and India is looking forward with some conclusions. Second last, US to end normal trade relationship with Russia. This is the consequences that Russia will have to take place. Russia will have to face in where they have actually decided to invade the Ukraine. And the last is an editorial, a plan for the hill. A good editorial that will give you an insight about the state's development plan and how the state should be going about it. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based question. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. And just to tell you about our new app, this is Android version 2.0, where you will get a lot more other facilities in the app. So do check it out. A वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक से डायरेक्टली उस ऐप को भी डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. Starting with the first news of the day, that is the first indigenous COVID drug to be available soon. This news is something which is relevant for General Studies Paper 2 in mains, that is issues related to development and management of health. So let's understand this news in detail. According to the Tata Institute of Genomics and Society, the director has said that the first indigenous drug, which is named as WinCov-19, this name is again important for many other competitive examination also, and also for the prelims examination. This particular drug is aimed to treat the COVID-19 infection, and very soon this drug is going to be available to there for the publics, and it will be available in the stores, that is for the farmers shop. Now, the drug has undergone the completions of clinical trial. There are majorly 3 trials which take place under the supervision of ICMR. So, 3 trials complete करने के बाद finally it has shown the excellent result. And this is the reason being it has been approved and finally it would be reaching to the citizen of this country. Now, क्या है WinCop? How does it function? How it is actually being manufactured? किन collaboration से ये बनाई गई है? The product WinCov-19 is a collaborative effort of CSIR, that is another Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, University of Hyderabad, that is a city-based VNI, and bioproducts. So these are some of the institutions or collaborative efforts evolved in the making of this vaccine. WinCov-19 is a collection of antibodies from horse after they get injected with the inactivated coronavirus. So again, this point is significantly important. Antibodies की अगर बात करें, this antibodies generate through the blood serum and synthesize, purifying, turn into a drug which would be used to inject it to the human and neutralizing the COVID-19 vaccine, right? So something very important, a milestone achievement. Still the pandemic is not over in our country. उनकी जो रेशियो है, जिस तरह से जो इन्फेक्शन रेट है, वो डेफिनेटली डिक्लाइन हुई इंडिया में, बट वी हैव टू ऑलवेज बी रेडी फॉर एनी नेगेटिव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. Now, pandemic से क्या lessons हमें लेने की जरूरत है and why the government has come up with decision. So in a very short span of time, the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology has come up with the scientific institutions that has rose to the challenges and development of diagnostic kits. India में जो testing facilities हैं वो भी बढ़ाए गए. The device that was essentially required was built. Genomic spot were there. Worked for more than 170 potential drug and reagent that make wonders, right? Even we have seen the PPE kit shortage in India in the initial time of pandemic, but अब इतनी सारी कंपनीज आ गई कि जो भी लूपहोल्स थे, जो वैक्यूम्स थे, उनको फिल करने के लिए इंडिया ने बहुत सारे मेक इन इंडिया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इनिशिएटिव्स के थ्रू, आत्मनिर्भर भारत की जो इनिशिएटिव्स हैं उनके थ्रू बहुत सारी चीज़ों की लूपहोल्स को फिल किया. Now the pandemic has shown that the country has to become a self-reliant in health sector. Something very important. Essentially, a lesson has to be learned with a century latest pandemic which India and the world has seen. And the other news, Russia offer more oil to India. This is something important for general studies paper 2. Bilateral regional grouping and agreement evolving India's and affecting India's interest. सो रिसेंट में जिस तरह से आपने देखा यूक्रेन में इन्वेट किया है रशिया ने, उसके बाद क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस काफ़ी ज़्यादा हाई हुई हैं एंड दैट हैज़ लेड टू इन्फ्लेशन इन मेनी अदर कंट्रीज स्पेसिफिकली इन इंडिया एज वेल. सो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ रशिया हैज सेड दैट इट इज़ कीन टू इंक्रीज द ऑयल एंड पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट एक्सपोर्ट टू इंडिया. वो अब और ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे इंडिया की तरफ. Now, according to the statement issued by the Russian parliament, or you can say the Russian government, this is actually government, they're looking forward with the possibilities of strengthening India and Russia strategic partnership, जो कि specifically energy sector पे काम करेगी. And we import a lot more crude oil from Russia. तो dependence कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया की काफ़ी ज़्यादा है crude oil को लेकर के. ऑयल एंड पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स की बात करें एक्सपोर्ट की, तो रशिया जो ऑयल और पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट की एक्सपोर्ट करता है इंडिया को, दे हैव अप्रोच्ड ऑलमोस्ट $1 billion, and this there's a clear opportunities to increase it will as well because the consumption pattern in India is on a higher side. And according to the resources and the sources, both countries has agreed to have a proposal to discuss by the official, including the possible mode of payment also. So the payment part was also discussed because some of the sanctions which was going to SWIFT की भी sanctions है वो भी लगाई गई है, and many other banks also part of the international exchange and settlement system was being banned. तो उसमें किस तरह के एक अलग स्केप रूट हो सकते हैं पेमेंट के लिए, that was also discussion. Now, यूरोपियन यूनियन की अगर बात करें, यूरोपियन कंट्रीज स्पेसिफिकली दे हैव एग्जेम्प्टेड रशियन बैंक, जहाँ पे वो एनर्जी से रिलेटेड कोई भी जो ट्रांजेक्शन है उनको सेटल आउट कर सके. Now, the US has announced a complete ban on the import of all Russian petroleum and petroleum products from March 8 onwards, when Russia has started to invade Ukraine. Basically, उसके बाद consequences आई है, रशिया ने पहले भी invade किया. So this is something which Russia is looking कि इस तरह के consequences में क्या impact होंगे, but US ने clearly state दिया है that they would be announcing the complete sanctions. Now, the decision has led to the spike in the oil prices, crossing 139 per barrel, which is pretty high, right? एवरेज जो अगर आप देखेंगे जो बैरल की प्राइसेस हैं पर बैरल 80 to 90 होती है. फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम वी हैव सीन 139, राइट? एंड इवन द प्राइस हैज रिमेन्ड ओवर 100 per dollar, which is causing a global scare over the inflation rate. Now, looking at to this image, you will be able to understand which countries has the most oil and how this is going. So the list of the countries that possess the most oil include Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran possess half of the world 1.5 trillion barrel. So in this map, you can clearly see these are the countries. Venezuela stand number 1, followed by the other countries like Iraq. Then we have Kuwait, right? Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia, UAE, Nigeria, Libya, and US is also a part, right? But US is among the least. So this map work is again important to give you an understanding about the crude oil reserve. और अगर बैरल की बात करें, एक बैरल में 159 लीटर्स होती है, and if you calculate in gallon, this is 42 gallons. Now, Germany is most reliant on Russia. अगर बात करें कौन सी कंट्री जो सबसे ज़्यादा डिपेंडेंट है रशिया के ऑयल इंपोर्ट्स के लिए, so the number first is Germany, followed by France, Italy, UK, South Korea, US, Japan, and also India. The other news, India-China hold 15 round of military talk, something which is important for general studies paper 2, India and its neighborhood relation. We have seen the process of military talks already taking place, but no conclusion has come yet. Still, इस बार की जो 15 लेवल की टॉक हुई है उसमें भी कोई concrete conclusion नहीं मिली. So recently, India and China has another round of high-level military talk. This is a 22nd month long standoff which has continued in the eastern Ladakh region, or you can say the line of actual control, right? तो इसमें बात की गई कुछ सिग्निफिकेंट आउटकम को लेकर के, स्पेशली ये मीटिंग हुई थी ईस्टर्न लद्दाख की बॉर्डर में जो स्टैंड ऑफ चल रही है विद इंडिया एंड चाइनीज मिलिट्री, which is erupted on 5th of May 2020. It actually started in this day. This was a day when the burst took place, and following a clash on the Pongo Lake areas. Now, इस रिजल्ट में बहुत लेवल की सीरीज ऑफ मिलिट्रीज और डिप्लोमेटिक टॉक्स भी हुई हैं, but the complete disengagement process has taken place in the north and south banks of the Pongo Lake and Gorgas area. but India is looking forward with the complete resolutions to this dispute that has arisen. नाउ कमांडर लेवल टॉक्स जो ऑलरेडी पहले भी हुई हैं 15th राउंड से पहले भी रीसेंट सबसे लेटेस्ट 15th राउंड ऑफ कमांडर लेवल टॉक जो कि चुक्सुल मोल्डो बॉर्डर एरियाज पे हुई अलोंग द लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल इन द ईस्टर्न लद्दाख वेयर पीपल आर फेमिलियर विद द डायलॉग राइट दिस इज व्हाट द ऑफिशियल स्टेटमेंट इज कमिंग. And India has learned to have pressed the early disengagement of the troop, which is a remaining friction area from the resolution point that is issued around the Deep Seng Belt and the Imchok areas. मेन फोकस थी यहाँ पे टॉप की दैट इज विद द स्टॉल्ड एरियाज विद द डिसएंगेजमेंट प्रोसेस ऑफ द हॉट स्प्रिंग जो कि पेट्रोलिंग पॉइंट 15 है. यहाँ पे बहुत अलग अलग तरह के पेट्रोलिंग पॉइंट्स. सो स्पेशली इंडिया इज कंसर्न अबाउट द हॉट स्प्रिंग ऑफ द पेट्रोलिंग पॉइंट 50. Now 14th राउंड की टॉक इससे पहले 15 से पहले जो 14th राउंड की टॉक हुई थी फॉर जनवरी 2022 सो इट डज नॉट हैज लैंडेड टू एनी पॉजिटिव फीडबैक और इवन पॉजिटिव आउटकम. Now this when the 14th round actually took place, the two sides has come close contact and maintained the dialogue with via military and diplomatic channel, but mutually acceptable solutions की तरफ आगे नहीं बढ़ी गई है. And India has been insisting a comprehensive disengagement and de-escalation situation in the eastern Ladakh, while China की एक claim है China has been reluctant to discuss the part of the deep sand and Demchok areas where they are not the part of the current standoff, right? तो China इसको एक इशू नहीं मानता है बट इंडिया के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी कंसर्न है. Now, massive construction is taking place in this area. China has been undergoing with massive construction, whether it is a habitat area, support structure, infrastructure development, or any development that is a part of the line of actual control is a concern for India, which construction activities taking place from the Chinese side, right? Now, US to end normal trade relationship with Russia. This is something important for General Studies paper 2. This is more relevant for General Studies paper 2, that is effect and policy for developed and developing countries. So the United States President, Mr. Joe Biden, he has said that the United States and its allies will not strive of gaining the treatment between international trade partners, right? So this is how this is looking forward. US ने ऑलरेडी कहा है कि वो सैंक्शंस करेंगे और जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं रशिया को रोकने के लिए वो उसके पार्ट करेंगे, राइट? सो दिस इज द लेटेस्ट पनिशमेंट दैट रशिया प्रेसिडेंट इज गेटिंग फ्रॉम द यूएस because of the reason they have invaded Ukraine. The United States has also added जो कुछ ऐसे ओलिगाई हैं रशियंस के उनको भी बैन किया जाएगा और उनके जो एक्सपोर्ट है रशियन गुड्स को that would be also banned from the United States. So each country must implement a change in Russia's trading that is the status based of the national progress. Now कुछ unprecedented sanctions भी की गई हैं. This is a kind of a level of tension that would be also the part of Russia because economic sanctions एक बहुत बड़ी concern हो सकती है रशिया के लिए futures में. Now, International Monetary Fund has also now predicted that this will plunge to the deep recession for this year. And according to the USTR, that is United States Trade Representative Offices, 2019 में कहा था Russia was 26th largest good trading partner with the United States, which has a value of around $28 billion in exchange between two countries. But after the sanctions, this is drastically going to decrease. Now, imports की अगर बात करें क्या क्या ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो import की जाती है रशिया से. So the top import from Russia include mineral fuels, precious metals, stones, iron and steel fertilizers, inorganic chemicals होंगे, all goods that could face higher tariff once the Congress Act to revoke the favored nation status with Russia. तो देखना होगा कि जो most favored nation का concept है US के लिए उसमें भी क्या इसको सैंक्शंस की जाती है रशिया के लिए फिर ये सारे प्राइजेस भी बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हो सकते हैं. Now plan for the health, a very brilliant editorial written by Rajendra P. Mangin, and he talks about the development plan for the Uttarakhand region. So this particular editorial is important for General Studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So what I'm going to discuss under this editorial, there are some important subheads that I'll be discussing with you. First is Uttarakhand economic growth, creation and migrations commissions, lack of employment opportunities, public health status, major challenges in the Uttarakhand की जो vision है 2030 उसके बारे में भी थोड़ा discuss करेंगे, and the way forward. So the entire editorial talks about a roadmap for the development and उत्तराखंड. So recently we have seen the election result जहाँ पे जो ruling party है भारतीय जनता पार्टी, they have won the state again. तो state की assembly elections थी, so उन्होंने दोबारा जीता है, and this is the second consecutive term that the BJP would be following, right? So new government से कुछ expectations भी हैं, they have to promise their जो promise वो की गई, they have to fulfill their promises, and even they have to fulfill the long cherished demand that is coming from this state. बेसिकली स्टेट्स के साथ भी प्रॉब्लम है, हिली स्टेट्स हैं, कुछ प्लेन एरियाज हैं, तो डिस्पैरिटी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट फॉर द हिलीज एरिया एंड फॉर द प्लेन एरियाज. विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट इन डिटेल ऑल्सो. उत्तराखंड इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ की अगर बात करें, किस तरह की पैटर्न है ग्रोथ पैटर्न. So the state of Uttarakhand has recorded economic growth since its foundations, but there have been considerable improvement in terms of connectivity and access to basic amenities. But यहाँ पे differences हैं वो hilly areas और plain areas में, because the state has some hilly areas as well and some plain areas as well. तो पर कैपिटा इनकम जो है, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शंस है, हिली एरिया में वो कम है एज कंपेयर टू द प्लेन एरिया. सो प्लेन एरिया हैज अ हायर डिस्ट्रिक्ट डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शंस और जो हिली एरियाज हैं उनमें कम है, राइट? तो प्लेन एरियाज इज ऑन अ हायर साइड एंड हिली एरियाज ऑन अ लेसर साइड. So this has been largely due to the over concentration of economic opportunity in the plain areas, which is not available in the hilly areas. चाहे वो इंडस्ट्रियल सेटअप हो या भी और किसी तरह डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स की बात की जाए. Now, creation of migration commission, this was actually set up. The government has come up with the issues that जो migration commission है वो स्टेट्स को चेक करेगा, जो out migrations हो रही है स्टेट से for the employment, what should be done in that context. So the main reason for out migration was highlighted with the lack of unemployment opportunities. जो employment opportunities हैं वो काफ़ी कम हैं इस states में, because of the reason quality education is also not there, health facility is not being addressed. So these are the three main issues because of the reason people are migrating from the state. So the first is the lack of employment opportunities, second is quality education, and third is the health facilities. Although अभी बहुत सारे hospitals की establishment की गई है, even AIMS was also established. So unprecedented unemployment has more than doubled. यहाँ पे 1.39 lakh people unemployed थे 2011-12 में. And for this year, the current data is like 3.2 lakh people are unemployed. The youth in the hilly area face high rate of unemployment compared to the plain district, which is 16%, right? Plain district में सिर्फ 16.4% का unemployment rate है, वहीं पे hilly areas में ये 24% है, right? These data are again very important. If you are appearing for state civil services of Uttarakhand, these are very important point for the mains paper, right? Now, lack of employment opportunities की अगर बात करें, definitely economic growth has not led the creation of remunerative jobs. जिस तरह की job creations होनी चाहिए वो काफ़ी कम है. Even 47% of the population are employed in agriculture. You can see substantially half of the population or 1/10 of the contribution is coming from this, right? And in the hilly areas, dependence on agriculture as a source of employment has increased between 2011-12 to 1920. And in this context, the plain region, that is the non-agriculture sector, is a dominant source of livelihood for many people. You can say almost half of the people are dependent on agriculture. Now, public health status की अगर बात करें, क्या status है healthcare को लेकर? Even for COVID-19, the reality is there that most states lack the basic amenities. But specifically talking about Uttarakhand, there is a challenge, that is a special care facilities नहीं है, including the specialized manpower, force people to seek healthcare in plain areas. Now, the state is ranked 15th among the 19 states in the Health Development Index. CAT की report के मुताबिक, it is an extremely poor condition that state healthcare sector is ongoing with. और कोविड-19 के टाइम में ये शॉक से हमें पता भी चला है that हमें पब्लिक हेल्थ केयर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को स्ट्रेंथन करने की जरूरत है, where long term planning, sustained strategy is essentially required to emerge the sector. कुछ और मेजर चैलेंजेस जो उत्तराखंड एज अ स्टेटहुड प्रॉब्लम देखती है, वहाँ के जो स्टेट्स में जो लोग हैं, जो सिटीजन हैं, उनको और क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम का सामना फेस करना पड़ रहा है. सो फर्स्ट इज एम्प्लॉयमेंट, डेफिनेटली अ बिग इशू इन द स्टेट. Infrastructure development, again very important. Migration, as I've told you, because of the health issues, because of the not having a good quality of education, and unemployment की वजह से भी migration high है वहाँ पे. Empowerment of women is a big concern. Agriculture development is again a point. Social safety nets such as minimum income support for household is essentially required. And free electricity is something that should be provided for the by the government to the citizen. तो ये कुछ मेजर challenges हैं जो अभी इस बार की गवर्नमेंट आएगी उनके पास भी ये सामना करेंगे. Now, Uttarakhand Vision 2030, the next important step for the state government is to implement the vision, which was actually envisaged in 2018, जहाँ पे आइडेंटिफाई की गई थी कि जो हाई बिजनेसेस एरियाज हैं या फिर जो लाइवलीहुड ऑप्शन है उनको एक्सप्लोर किया जाए, टूरिज्म में इंक्रीज की जाए, ग्रीन एनर्जी की तरफ बढ़ा जाए, एंड सम इको सर्विसेज should also be the part of the economic and employment opportunities. जो नेसेसिटी स्पेंडिंग है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जो इनेबल करती है टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट के लिए, चाहे वो क्रेडिट हो, large scale opportunities or particularly mountain centric development, should be the part of government strategy for economic development of the states. Now if you look into the way forward, how the way forward can be written in this context, तो आपको ये बताना होगा कि हिली डेवलपमेंट पॉलिसी एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स है टू क्रिएट अ बैलेंस बिटवीन द रीजन, बिकॉज वी हैव सीन सम प्लेन एरियाज एज वेल एज सम हिली एरिया. सो डिस्पैरिटी है उसे खत्म करने की जरूरत है. Private investment is also needed for the infrastructure development, जहाँ पे micro, small and medium enterprises and local youth की participations को भी ensure किया जा सकता है. Now, industrial policy need to be something which is very rigid, and it's called for the employment opportunity that is extensive in nature, and definitely this is something which will call for a more robust development for the hilly areas as well. Many of the scheme for the self-employment generation and skill development has to be redesigned, जहाँ पे सस्टेनेबल लाइवलीहुड ऑप्शंस को हमें हमेशा अलाइव रखना होगा फॉर द अनएम्प्लॉयड एंड दोज whomsoever is looking forward to join the force. Now, medical colleges is essentially required in each and every district because जो हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की वजह से माइग्रेशंस होती है वो रोकी जा सके और ओवरऑल एक स्टेट्स में जो बेसिक पैरामेडिकल्स या फिर हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होनी चाहिए वो प्रॉपर हो सके. सो दिस इज हाउ द वे फॉरवर्ड कैन बी कंक्लूडेड. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is B. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice. Technology and Innovation Report was released by UNCTD, that is United Nations Conference on Trade, Economics Intelligence Unit, World Economic Forum, Global Entrepreneurial and Development Institute. If you know, it's well and good. If not, do check it out and revise the reports and index. There's another report which you have to again check. The Food to Waste report is released by UNEP, International Food Policy Research Institute, Walk Free Foundations, and New Economics Foundations. So these are some of the important questions that you have to practice at home. This was all about the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.